Hi, I'm Margaret Kerry, Kerry, from County Kerry, Ireland. And I am the original reference model and live action model for Walt Disney for the movie. Way back then, about 1950, I started doing that work. And she's so adorable. People want me to come and say hi to them still to this day.
You pantomimed Tinkerbell for 6 months. What direction from the animators did you get?
Oh, good question. Well, the first day that I walked up and talked to Mark Davis, MARC, by the way, who was the great designer and artist for Disney, I said, Mr. Davis, that's what you did. You called people Mr. and Mrs. way back then. And I said, what do you want her to be? I said, do you want her to be ditzy like Betty Boo? Or do you want to be above it all like Queen of the Fairies? And he said, Margaret, we want it to be you. And I said, gosh golly, I think I can do that. So they turned me loose on what I thought she should be. And they seemed very pleased because I changed her quite a bit into a ballet dancer. And if you watch her walk as a ballet dancer, when she moves her hand, even when she's angry, that's the way a ballet dancer would do it. So that's how I played her the whole time. And I'm so glad I did because it sort of sets her apart. And she was right. I mean, that's what she would do, right?
Some mistakenly attribute Tink's look to Marilyn Monroe. How do you take the comparison to one of Hollywood's most recognizable icons?
Well, I worked with Marilyn and she could do almost anything, but Fox was building her to be a star. They are not going to loan her out to another studio to be a model for something. It just isn't done that way. But secondly, at the time, Marilyn was not a dancer. She did not have the moves. She had more of the human kind of moves that you would have. Later on, as I say, Marilyn could do anything. I just thought she was grand. So she became a very fine move dancer who did her thing. She could have done it later on, but I did it then.
Disney built giant props, a keyhole and giant scissors. What was trickier to act with?
Oh, the hardest one was the great big scissors, where I'm taking the scissors and trying to get out of the drawer and put, because the scissors were made of very thin wood. And so they would move and they would buckle. And I'm trying not to let them buckle, but at the same time, look like I'm using every bit. And we had, they were tied on, one part of the handle was tied on to the prop man, and part of it was tied on to me. And on one take that we had, I pulled too hard, and the prop man came out where he was sitting holding, and I went down, and he went down, and the camper came down and got the shot of us, just laughing ourselves so.
Can you recall your time meeting Walt Disney and what it was that you discussed?
Well, they only had one soundstage, very, very small production company then. So I was doing Tinkerbell, who, by the way, doesn't talk. That's why I titled my book, which you can get on Amazon, by the way, Tinkerbell Talks. And you can get on my website, tinkerbelltalks.com. Anyway, he came walking in with a group of men, and Buddy Ebsen, the dancer, was leading the pack, and they went against the wall and started working on something, which turned out animatronics. That was the start of animatronics. But then they would all go away except Mr. Disney, and he would come over and chit-chat with Mark Davis and with the cameraman and with me. And he was charming. He was much slimmer than I thought he was. And he was thoughtful and lovely smile. He said one time, somebody had chatted with him, I guess, because I had mentioned I had gone to school with his daughter. And in the middle of a conversation with him, he said, I understand you went to school with my daughter. I was taken aback. I mean, this is the head of the studio telling me, yes, yes, yes. And he stepped aside and came back and says, I think they liked you. And I think that I like them. It was silly, but I was trained always that you never saw the head of a studio. If you saw a head of a studio, you would curtsy, or bow. I mean, they were so sacrosanct. And here I was chatting with this man, and I guess he came over and talked about 4 or 5 times. Couldn't have been nicer.
Your memoir, Tinkerbell Talks, covers your Disney days. What did writing the book help you remember about yourself?
Well, it covers much more than that. It starts, if you could hand me. One of the first things I did, I was 4 years old. So I started 93 years ago. And the book covers this, and working with Elizabeth Taylor when I was younger, some of the pictures that I did, learning how to dance, being in the USO, because World War II came in. And you're looking at somebody who danced up and down California for the USO. The television. I loved television and all the things that happened with TV. Then into the part about working at Disney. And there were 2 large parks I think it's 4 and 5. And then back to what I did afterwards, because I worked with the Three Stooges, cartoons. I've done about 300 cartoons for television. I speak 21 different dialects and had about 48 different voices. And I was on radio. I was all over the place. But you were supposed to do that because no one knew whether it was going to be TV or motion picture or something else. Radio was fading, but you could still get work there. So I was working with the best.
Final question. Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, I'm delighted. I love to talk about me. It works. At least I know a little something about that subject. And thank you for asking. And thank you for all of you out there who love Tinkerbell, because she is the dearest thing, as you can imagine. And remember Mark Davis. He's the one who made her so wonderful. How about some pixie dust?